Hi guys, I'm back with another cake decorating tutorial. Today's video will be very helpful for all those amateur bakers who are a tad bit confused on how to decorate cupcakes with tons of piping tips available in the market. I will be introducing just 4 of the most versatile nozzles with which you can make number of designs using your creativity. So let's get started. The most frequently used and loved tip is the rose tip. This is a Wilton 1M tip, and for this design you need the 1M tip and a small leaf tip. To achieve the dual color, I'll be using purple colored buttercream and a plain white color buttercream. I use buttercreams with a stiff peak consistency. As you can see, I'm applying it on one side as a strip of the piping bag, and I'll be filling the remaining of the piping bag with white colored buttercream. You can use either Swiss meringue, Italian meringue, or American buttercream, but I would suggest you stay away from cream cheese as it's softer. Now I'm using a spatula to gather the buttercream to the end of the bag. You have to thinly frost your cupcake, which will allow our buttercream decorations to adhere to it. Now applying a uniform pressure to your bag, start from the center at 90-degree angle and turn the piping bag clockwise direction and lift off when you reach the end of the cupcake. The basic and most popular Rosette cupcake is ready. Now for the next design, which looks a little complicated but absolutely easy. To achieve this design, you will be using 3 types of nozzles. You require rose petal nozzle, the leaf nozzle, and a closed star tip nozzle. Take your flower nail and apply a tiny amount of buttercream for our piece of parchment to stick on this. Now this is a rose tip nozzle with a tapered end at one side of the nozzle. Always remember that tapered end of the nozzle should always be facing upwards. As we've done with the rosette piping, I am trying to achieve a dual tone for these roses as well. So I'm taking a darker shade of red and applying it as a strip into the piping bag, and will add a beautiful coral color buttercream to the bag. To pipe a rose with this tip, always remember the tapered end of the nozzle should be facing upwards and the thicker end should be on the surface we pipe on. As you can see, I piped a blob of icing as the center of a rose, and I start with 3 petals first, overlapping one another. Then I go around piping 5 petals and so on in odd numbers. As you can see, with every petal, I'm also turning my fingernail. To achieve a depth to the buttercream roses, we need to pipe each layer of petals at different heights. The center will be shorter than the 5-layered petal, and the last petal layer will be the shortest. I am now keeping this aside and it will go into my freezer for 10 minutes. Now I'll show you how I make the rosebud. It is the same process but with a fewer and closed petals. As you can see, the petals do overlap each other but are very intact than our previous rose. I'll be stopping right here and finishing it off. So these are the roses that are out of the freezer. They should be firm enough not to stick to your finger when touched. It'll be easier to handle them now. Take your frosted cupcake and place these roses and the buds onto them. Since we have chilled them, we can handle these flowers and adjust them to fit on the cupcake. To fill in those empty blank spaces, I'm going to use my closed star tip. I'm going to use the same coral color buttercream and pipe small drop flowers to fill in the white spaces. These flowers are like filler flowers which will give the entire cupcake a completed and finished look. I'm going to now finish the whole cupcake using the leaf tip, and I'm going to pipe random leaves where I find a few little gaps left out. There, this is done, and wasn't it simple? Now on to my next design. This perhaps is my most favorite flower among all of them and extremely simple to create, and this uses just one tip, which is the rose petal tip. So I'm going to be using a dual tone again. As mentioned earlier, the tapered end of the nozzle will be facing upwards. The motion to create this flower is pretty simple. Imagine a line being drawn and just move your piping bag up and down the straight line. Keep turning the cupcakes with every petal that is to be piped. This would make the buttercream petals to overlap one another, and it would give a dimension to the flower that we are piping. So once your outer layer of petals is done, continue the same motion within the inner layer. This flower does require a little practice, so don't fret if you didn't get it right in one go. Just concentrate on covering the entire cupcake with these petals. Guys, you can practice this motion on a parchment paper first and then get onto it on the cupcake. I'm now taking my white buttercream in a piping bag whose tip I just snipped off. Using this, I'm piping stamens at the center of this cupcake. You can try adding some black pearls in the middle as well. So this is done, and how cute does that look? Now since we learned all these techniques using the 4 nozzles, I now will show you how to decorate one cupcake with all these 4. I got my blank canvas ready, and taking my 1M tip, I pipe a small rosette at one edge of the cupcake. Then I take a rose petal nozzle, and at around 45 degrees to our cupcake, we are going to pipe a ruffle pattern. Always remember the tapered end of the nozzle has to be facing upwards. Also guys, this very nozzle is used to make all those lovely ruffles on Barbie doll cakes, so it's extremely versatile. Now using the closed star tip, and again continue to make your drop flowers wherever you can find empty blank spaces. This is just to cover up the cupcake and give it a fuller look. I'm now going to take my green color buttercream, and using the leaf tip, I will check if any remaining blank spaces, and I'll cover the blank spaces with this tip. And also I'm using this particular tip to create ruffles again. It would give a very lovely effect, as you can see. So guys, these 4 nozzles can be used in a number of ways, as I've showed you. There you go, this cupcake is done. Finally, we'll show you how to pipe this beautiful rose onto the cupcake. And yes, a beginner can definitely pull this off. It's the same way we pipe the rose on a flower nail. we just have to do the same on the cupcake, and we're using just 2 nozzles, as you can see. I'm using just the normal purple color buttercream. You can choose to do a dual color buttercream as well. It will turn out beautiful. Always remember the thumb rule. The tapered end of the rose tip should always be facing upwards. And with even pressure, we have to pipe the petals overlapping one another. And you don't have to be too specific with the count of petals on each layer, as it always turns out to be very beautiful on the cupcake anyhow. Also guys, remember, since these are decorated cupcakes, I suggest you fill the cupcake batter just to the half of the liner and not 3/4, so that you can get a even and flat top. Now I'm finishing up this cupcake with leaves here and there just to complete the look. And guys, you can customize this buttercream rose in however many ways you want. You could add small white or silver pearls or dust them with pearl luster dust, or you can also do a dual tone to this. It all comes down to your creative ideas. That's done and it's beautiful. I love the way it has turned out. I'm just piping the leaves, which I missed out on the rosette. There you go. So now we come to the end of today's video. These are the 5 beautifully decorated cupcakes which use only 4 nozzles. These nozzles are extremely versatile, as you have seen. And like I mentioned guys at the start of my video, you don't have to get confused on buying a 12 or a 24 piece set of nozzles. Be it for beginners or for professionals, these nozzles are an essential in every baker's toolkit. So you guys do not have to get confused, and you can just start off practicing with these 4 tips and then you can master them. So guys, if you've liked and enjoyed watching my video, then please like, share and subscribe to my channel. And guys, also don't forget to click on the bell icon, because this will send you a notification every time I upload something new. If you want to see more such tutorials, do let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you guys, and see you next Thursday. Take care.